Good morning. I want to give a quick demonstration of an EndZone fan control working with a grain temp guard. This is the EndZone fan control. This is the associated weather station that is a part of the EndZone fan control. This unit is monitoring outside temperature and humidity, and when components get outside the set point that the grain operator has set, the EndZone will turn the fans off. Above this, we've got a grain temp guard HT, which is humidity temperature, and a grain temp guard DT, or dual temperature. This device has two temperature probes. Depending on the size of your bin, like for a 5 to 15,000 bushel bin, one of these would be adequate. For something larger, I like to see one probe per 5 to 7,000 bushels of grain. This device, the Alarm HT, is for using in grain that you are conditioning, such as natural air drying corn or changing the moisture in soybeans. When I say changing the moisture, that could be increasing the moisture or decreasing the moisture. What this does is measure the equilibrium humidity amongst the grain, and with the charts on a resource page, you can identify what the moisture is of the grain fairly accurately. With this, you can monitor what the grain is doing as well as temperature for hot spots, but you can monitor the moisture as you are changing it through your ventilation system. I also recommend one of these probes per 5 to 7,000 bushels. So in the case of my bins, which are 20,000 bushels, I have 3 probes in there, which requires 3 of these devices. As long as we know what the application is, we can wire the EndZone fan control to connect to as many as are required to control your bins. Okay, this device is currently set on automatic control, and it is switched up so it's working off of the bin GTG, grain temp guard, and the weather station. Now you can flip it down so it's only working off the weather station. What this is saying is that the components of the weather station are fine, so the fan's going to go on. If the weather station, let's just say that humidity increased and you had higher humidity than you wanted, what will occur then, and I'm going to simulate this by blowing onto the probe, increasing the humidity. The humidity will come up. It's saying the conditions are outside our set point, and it turns the fan off. Fan being up here, the green light to signal it. Now when the humidity comes back down to our target, it's going to change, and the fan will come back on. Okay, I'm going to now switch it to grain temp guard and weather station. Now the device requires the input from one of the grain temp guards. So this is a signal that is coming from the grain saying we need ventilation. The weather station is going to monitor are the temperature and humidities within the range that you set. So perhaps you don't want to have air above a certain temp. I don't really like blowing air that's 80 degrees into my bins, 80 degrees and above. I prefer to ventilate my grain with say 60 to 70 degree air in the summer. Humidities, I don't really like blowing a bunch of 90% humidity air in, especially with beans that adds a lot of moisture. Or on the other end, putting low humidity air, which over dries the grain at the bottom. Many farmers have problems with that. So in this setting right now, We've got a room humidity, so we're kind of stuck with that. I would normally target this to be somewhere around, yeah, right there, 62 to 65. It's not asking for anything to go on. Neither one of these systems are an alarm. But if I blow on the probe for that unit, I'm going to increase the humidity. So I'm going to use humidity as the trigger. We've got moisture migration. So this unit is going to ask for the fan to come on. Also, there's an external alarm that goes with this when it hits. Okay, the external alarm draws our attention to this. You can shut the external alarm off. Now the signal is just going to here, and this green light is indicating that the monitor is active. The lower green light is telling us that the fan signal is active. The device is asking for the fan to turn on. Now we're going to have a rainstorm come by. So I'm going to increase the humidity on the weather station again. And it calls for it to shut off until the humidity drops. So now I can use this to clear the humidity out of the sensor. And you know what has happened? The humidity over in that one has dropped soon enough it's no longer asking for the fan to go on. I'm blowing it again. Okay, now this device is getting down to the point that the weather station is going to allow it to turn on pretty soon. A little more work here. I'm going to cheat. Oh, went out of alarm. So now this is no longer asking for the device to turn off due to weather conditions. And because the green temp guard is asking for the fan to come on, it returns to functioning. Fan is on, as indicated here by the light also. Over here with the dual temperature, I've got one of the temperature probes. I'm going to just warm this in my hand. And when that goes off, the external alarm is going to go off. In addition, it will also ask for the fan to come on. Now that one's, the humidity's dropped down. Okay, now I can flip this switch. I can turn this off. Now this device is asking for the grain bin fan to be active and ventilate the grain. Thank you for looking at our video. Please visit our market site at farmshopmfg.com, and we look forward to working with you and helping you with your grain management needs. Thank you.